A chilling crime, a love triangle, and a trail of digital and physical evidence leading to a shocking conclusion. On May 11, 2022, the life of Mariah Wilson, a promising young cyclist, was tragically cut short. What began as a routine evening would end in a brutal murder, and the investigation into her death would uncover a tangled web of jealousy, betrayal, and calculated violence. As the investigation unfolded, what initially seemed like a tragic accident slowly revealed itself to be a cold-blooded murder. The tragic end to Mariah's life would leave the cycling community, her friends, and family in shock. But this case wasn't just about the loss of a promising athlete. It was about how trust, betrayal, and obsession led to murder. Mariah Wilson, known as Mo by her friends and family, was a rising star in the world of gravel racing. Born on May 18, 1996, she quickly made a name for herself in the cycling community due to her incredible talent, competitive spirit, and easygoing personality. Mo had earned respect among her peers and the cycling world for her performance in gravel races and mountain biking events. At just 25 years old, Mariah had accomplished more than most cyclists could dream of in a lifetime. Her wins at the Red Bull Holy Ride, Sea Otter Classic, and Unbound Gravel were only a few examples of her growing success. Beyond the races, Mariah was known for her humility and the relationships she cultivated within the cycling community. She was loved for her warm and approachable demeanor, always encouraging fellow athletes, no matter their skill level. Mariah had recently relocated to Austin, Texas, to pursue her racing career and be closer to a vibrant cycling community that could nurture her talent. She was set to race in Texas's most prestigious cycling event, but little did anyone know, this would be her last race. The day of May 11, 2022, began like any other for Mariah. It was a beautiful, sunny day in Austin, and she had planned to meet Colin Strickland, a local professional cyclist and her former romantic partner. Mariah had remained in contact with Colin after their breakup, as they both shared a passion for racing. The two had been friends for years, and their bond seemed genuine. But that day, something changed. Colin and Mariah spent the afternoon swimming together at Barton Springs, a popular swimming hole in Austin, enjoying the sun and each other's company. It was a casual meeting between former lovers who still shared a mutual respect and friendship. Colin later dropped her off at a house on Maple Avenue, where Mariah had been staying with a friend. What seemed like an innocent afternoon would soon turn into something much darker. Shortly after Colin left, the peaceful neighborhood was shattered when Caitlyn, a close friend of Mariah's, arrived home to find her clinging to life. Mariah had been shot in the head. By the time Caitlyn made her 911 call, Mariah was already dead, a victim of a brutal and targeted attack. But it wasn't just the death of a young woman. It was the beginning of a chilling investigation into the dark side of jealousy, obsession, and betrayal. The scene at 1788 Maple Avenue was chaotic when officers arrived. Caitlyn was desperately trying to perform CPR on Mariah, her hands covered in blood, as she fought to keep her friend alive. The officers quickly assessed the situation and found that the wound Mariah sustained was more than just a gunshot, it was a fatal wound. Investigators discovered cerebral spinal fluid, CSF, oozing onto the floor, confirming that the bullet had pierced Mariah's skull, killing her instantly. Caitlyn, although visibly shaken, explained that Colin Strickland was the last person she knew to be with Mariah. However, despite their efforts, no clear leads emerged immediately. The police discovered Mariah's bike missing from the basement, but later found it near the bushes. They swabbed Cash's hands for gunshot residue, but the test came back negative. She provided an important piece of information, however. The last person to be with Mariah was none other than Colin Strickland. As officers began to piece together the events, they discovered a local cafe where Colin and Mariah had met for drinks earlier in the day. However, it was when they reviewed CCTV footage from nearby houses that things took a sharp turn. The footage revealed something disturbing. A black Jeep driving toward Maple Avenue, just moments before the shooting occurred. The Jeep was caught on security cameras, and the audio from one of the doorbell cameras captured the sound of a gunshot shortly after the vehicle arrived. The Jeep, which was seen leaving the scene, immediately became the focal point of the investigation. When officers went to interview Colin Strickland, they were shocked to find the same black Jeep parked outside his house. At this point, Colin's connection to the crime took on a new dimension. The investigators were intrigued by his relationship with Mariah and started to wonder, could Colin be involved in the murder, or was he just a bystander caught up in something much larger? When the police questioned him, they uncovered more details about his personal life. Colin was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Caitlyn Armstrong, who had been a major part of his life for several years. But there was more to the story. During his breakup with Caitlyn in October 2021, Colin had a romantic affair with Mariah. And when they got back together in November 2021, the affair continued in secret, adding another layer of complexity to an already tangled love triangle. The investigation into Caitlyn Armstrong soon became more intense. Caitlyn, who had been with Colin before and after his affair with Mariah, began to look like a key suspect in the investigation. It seemed clear that jealousy and obsession were driving factors behind the crime. Caitlyn had always been possessive of Colin, and it was reported that she hated Mariah for her close relationship with him. As police dug deeper, they learned that Caitlyn had been stalking Colin and Mariah on social media and in real life. Around 7 p.m. when they left Barton Springs, a popular swimming hole in Austin, they headed to Maple Avenue, but they didn't realize that Caitlyn was stalking them and was driving the same direction. Caitlyn thought that turning off her cell phone would cover her tracks, but the surveillance footage shows the black Jeep similar to Caitlyn closing in on the house where Mariah was killed. As Colin dropped Mariah off at the Maple Avenue address, both were completely unaware that Caitlyn was secretly stalking them only yards away. Caitlyn's obsessive behavior only intensified as she became aware of the continuing emotional and physical connection between Colin and Mariah. The police found the black Jeep registered under Caitlyn's name, and upon further investigation, they discovered that the gun used to kill Mariah had been purchased by Colin for Caitlyn under the guise of self-defense. Ballistic tests confirmed that the gun used was of the same caliber as the bullets found at the scene of the murder. When Caitlyn was brought in for questioning, she appeared visibly tense and uneasy. When asked about her whereabouts on the night of the murder, she refused to cooperate and requested an attorney, effectively halting the interview. Despite the mounting evidence, Caitlyn denied everything and insisted on leaving. However, things took a dramatic turn when investigators discovered Caitlyn Armstrong had fled the country shortly after the murder. Caitlyn had used a fraudulent passport, one that belonged to her sister, in order to avoid detection. She had booked a one-way flight to Costa Rica, and CCTV footage from the Austin airport confirmed her departure. Days after the murder, investigators discovered that Caitlyn had used a fraudulent passport to board a flight to Costa Rica. Upon arrival, she booked a hostel in Santa Teresa Beach, where she worked as a yoga instructor. A sting operation was set in motion, and Caitlyn was eventually arrested at the Don John's Surf and Yoga Hostel by Costa Rican police. After Caitlyn's capture, she was extradited back to the U.S. to stand trial. Just when investigators thought they had Caitlyn in their grasp, another shocking development occurred. After being detained and charged with Mariah's murder, Caitlyn attempted to flee once again. During a doctor's appointment, she seized the opportunity to run from the officers guarding her. This second escape attempt showcased Caitlyn's desperation and determination to evade justice. Though she had already been under scrutiny and arrested once, Caitlyn's flight revealed her ongoing attempts to manipulate the system and avoid facing the consequences of her actions. Officers acted quickly, and Caitlyn was soon recaptured, this time further solidifying the dangerous lengths she was willing to go to in order to escape accountability for the cold-blooded murder of Mariah Wilson. During the trial, the evidence against her was overwhelming. The CCTV footage, the gunshot residue analysis, the ballistic match on the gun, and her flight from the country all pointed to her guilt. In November 2023, after a year-long legal battle, Caitlyn Armstrong was found guilty of first-degree murder for the cold-blooded killing of Mariah Wilson. She was sentenced to 90 years in prison. This case is a tragic reminder of how trust, when manipulated and exploited, can have devastating consequences. Mariah Wilson's life was taken by someone she trusted, and the investigation revealed a dark web of manipulation and jealousy. Caitlyn Armstrong's obsessive behavior and the weapon purchased for self-defense turned her into the cold-blooded killer that ended a promising young cyclist's life. Despite Caitlyn's conviction, there remain many unanswered questions about the events that unfolded that night. Why did she stalk Colin and Mariah? Was the murder a spur-of-the-moment decision, or had she been planning it for longer? And how much did Colin know about Caitlyn's actions, and what role, if any, did he play in enabling her escape? This case serves as a chilling reminder that no one is truly safe, even when they think they can trust those closest to them. The use of digital forensics, CCTV evidence, and evidence in uncovering the truth helped bring justice for Mariah Wilson. Yet the emotional toll on the victims' families and the public is lasting. It highlights the dangers of manipulation, obsession, and the lengths some will go to when driven by jealousy. Mariah's story serves as a sobering reminder that we must always be vigilant, that our trust in others should be earned and not given lightly. And for the loved ones left behind, there is a never-ending need to remember, honor, and seek justice for those whose lives were cut short. Thank you for watching this chilling true crime story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another shocking tale.